Hi, Sandra here from Create in Spain. Glad you're joining me today. I'm going to be doing a lighting up card, an LED card, and I'm starting off with my switch. The file is going to be linked below and it will be all self-explanatory. Once you see the file, you'll understand exactly what is going on. I'm going to put some tape on one side of this strip, like so, and then I'm going to quite simply fold it up. So I want to have my pieces concertinaed like this. There we go. And I'm going to pick one of those pieces to be my top part, my switch, the bit that will actually be held onto when someone wants to switch it on. And these pieces are all going to go underneath. Now the reason I've done it with these two pieces underneath is so there is a little pressure put onto the switch. So all I need to do now for this is to put some copper tape around the bottom. If that is my top piece, then this is the bottom, and I can just peel that off. Let's find my top piece again. Okay, that's my top piece, this is the bottom. And I'm just going to put it from the top of the first layer across the base, all in one piece, and then around that piece there. And if it goes up the side of that, it doesn't make much difference. You probably can't see it too easily on here, but it's actually embossed on here. I give you the lines for this file as well, so that you've got a good guideline as to where to put things. I've already cut out my top piece, and because it's offset, can't easily see it on here, but because it's offset, it's going to be marked in the same position on both cards, but with that offset discounted. So this is actually in the correct position. So I have things marked out. I have where my battery casing is going to go, and I've made my battery casing. And this simply goes on here like so. The tape for the positive goes under it, across this slit here, but it'll have the tape taken out there and up to the light bulb. And so what we can do in order to keep that in place, before we even put our tape down for our circuit, we can put some double-sided tape down so that this will stay there. So I've got my line here, and I want to put tape in the square, going underneath that line there, like so. I don't want it to go too far across. I can put a little more tape over the top of this if I want to make this line a little thicker there, to make sure I have plenty of contact for the battery. Okay, so that's going to be there. And then I want to put a piece of tape the other side of that slit, and it's going up the center line that I've got embossed into here, and it's going to go into the center. I just need to angle it slightly. I want it to go across the center of that circle there, which is where my, not my battery, my light, my LED light is going to go. So that's that bit. I need to put tape on the bottom of this, up around the side, and then over the top. Now you don't want to go directly into the crease because it might short the battery out, so a little way from the crease. And then it can come around and go right the way across the base there and just tear it off at the edge. Make sure this is stuck on properly. And that's a little bit too far around, so I'm just going to take that last tiniest bit of tape off there. I don't want contact in with the negative. There we are. So that is going to go on top of there quite happily because it's already got the double-sided tape. It's going to stay in place. And notice there is a gap just here, and that's because of the offset of the front card. And if I've got little bits left over, there's usually uses for them. So want to get a good amount across the base there. Fold it back on itself and then up again so that it goes on that line. Fold it back. Fold it like so. And then it can meet where the center of the circle is. I'm just going to get my scissors. Might need to trim a little bit more off of there. I should have done it with a knife, but my knife wasn't to hand. Okay. I need to have a tiny little gap there, so just going to cut a little bit of the tape and lift it off. There we are. So there is a slight gap. Now, all being well, that's my circuit completed so that it will work as soon as I put the light bulb in there and put the switch on. We shall see. So here's my switch, and now all I've done is used a piece of sticky tape to stick that down, the same piece of tape that I had over the bulb in the first place so that I could pick it up, because these are so tiny, as you can see, in comparison to my fingernail. They're a little bit tricky to handle if you don't have something to pick them up with. But the great thing is, because it is so tiny and it's so flat, there's no bulk involved. And they are very bright. And so if I close this and put that there, you can see. Now, you can't see it on camera, but this is a beautiful fuchsia pink. For some reason on camera, it comes out looking rather paler than that. It's a really bright fuchsia pink. You just have to take my word for it. Okay, so we know that's going to work. And what I need to do now is to make sure that this case is closed well. Now, what I'm not doing is actually sticking my battery down in there, because the whole idea of using this type of case is that if someone wants to, they can remove the battery and replace it. But what I do need to do is to make sure that there's enough pressure on that in order for it to stay shut and not to be slightly open. And the easiest way of doing that is just to put a little bit of sticky tape across it. So just some normal clear tape. Make sure that you do not go over the edge where your front panel is going to be showing. So there we are, that's working nicely, and there's no extra pressure on there. I've just got it taped shut. I can, however, still open this here with a fingernail, and then I would be able to slide the battery out. I could probably shake it out. Now, I did inadvertently on a previous video show, I think, me using a pair of tweezers to get out, which you wouldn't want to do unless your tweezers are plastic, because you might short the battery. So thanks for someone for pointing that out to me. I did know about it, I just forgot that I did it in the video. Now, the way to get around that, if you don't want to buy a special pair of tweezers and you're concerned that you might be taking things out of there, is just to dip them in some nail polish, allow it to dry, and then you'll have protected the metal tips. So that's one way of doing it. Other than that, just use something plastic, okay, to get the battery out. Don't forget when you put your top on, by the way, to put the switch in. I have been known to forget it before now and have to take the car apart to put it together. Not advisable, it really isn't. While I was waiting for the glue to dry, I put some foam tape around the outside of the base of the card. Now, don't do the mistake that I make, and I make it time after time again, I really don't know why I do it. Every time I do an inset version of the top layer, for some reason, I put the foam tape out too far. So be very wary of where you're putting it. And if you think, like me, that you're going to do that, make a line around the outside so you know where that layer is going to be. Now, I haven't finished this panel yet, but I'm going to do the rest of it when it's actually on here. And what I need to do is to line it up with the light and just make sure it is as straight as I can. I think that's pretty close. Would you believe it? I've managed to get some foam showing out there, so I'm just going to squidge it back in a bit. Just about managed to do that. Okay, so if I put it over here, it's okay, that's fine. So the next thing I want to show you is the other thing that I'm going to stick on here, which is this butterfly. What I did with this was I had a butterfly icing mould, this one here, and I have some foam clay. Is this stuff here? Let me just zoom out a bit. There we go. So this foam clay is great stuff. It's very light. It's like marshmallow to touch. It doesn't stick to your fingers, but it dries to a foam, basically. This feels very much like craft foam. Not much different, certainly. So what I did was I got a bit of that, rolled it out and just stuffed it into here, pulled it away, trimmed off any excess, did a few more, and then I just let them dry overnight. So this morning what I did was I got out some of my Sakura Stardust pens, which are sort of glittery ones, and I coloured inside the holes. And then I just got my Memento black ink pad and just stamped it all over the top, so that the bits which weren't recessed ended up being black. And I think that's worked really, really nicely. So what I want to do is to take a small strip of this and cut it down still further and put it onto the back of my butterfly. it can be bent and manipulated a bit. And what I want to do is to put it so that it's not quite flat on there like so. And then when it lights up, there we go. It looks a bit like a wall sconce. These are the ones that I've decided to use. They are multicolour and they're quite small and delicate, but very, very pretty. Just to add a little variety in the colour. So there we have it. Very, very pretty, and it lights up. And if I pull my blind down, you should be able to see the better effect. There we go. Isn't that lovely? I think so. Thanks for watching. Take care now.